Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome into the gymnasium here at Milford High School as Milford TV brings you this presentation of girls basketball. It is your Milford Lady Scarlet Hawks taking on the visiting Oliver Ames Lady Tigers. Tim Coet and Anthony Mazzini here to bring you the coverage this evening. Should be an exciting game tonight. Milford comes into the matchup with an overall record of 4-8. Oliver Ames currently the second place team in the Davenport Division standings at 6-5. These two teams have already played once this season, and it was a pretty entertaining game. Milford used a very nice second half rally to make it close. Ultimately, Oliver Ames was able to take the game, so it's a rematch opportunity here tonight and a chance for Milford to get a little revenge and even the season series. An entertaining one on tap next. Anthony Mazzini will join me on the broadcast when we return next here on Milford TV. Right back here inside the Milford High School gymnasium as this game is now underway between Milford and Oliver Ames. Girls basketball action here on Milford TV. We had an opportunity to see our first boys game of the season here in the Milford gym last week. Coverage on Milford TV, and now as I bring in my broadcast partner for the game, Anthony Mazzini. Now, Anthony, a chance for us to see what this girls varsity team has.
Yeah, I haven't been able to catch too many of their games so far this season. I saw their first one over in Hopedale, and they played really well that game, so hopefully they've worked on some of the things that didn't go so well for them, and they'll be back and better than ever here tonight.
They certainly have had some nice wins so far this season. Haven't been able to string a real long winning streak together yet, and they've certainly played much better in this gym, and really their biggest problem so far this season has been not a lot of home games. They played an awful lot of games on the road. This is only their 5th home game of the season, already now well past the halfway point, as we're still in search of our first points of the night. So the girls will certainly have a chance to get much more comfortable here at home for a good portion of the rest of the season.
Yeah, and home games definitely do help. Just getting the crowd behind you, all your parents and friends and stuff, it really helps.
Just under a minute into this first quarter action, and still awaiting those first points. As the shot clock is winding down and Oliver Ames is able to get the steal. Starting 5 for Milford tonight is Kate Irwin, Christine Pye, Clarissa Miaris, Emily Pierre Gustavo, and Juliana Tracy. For the visiting Oliver Ames Lady Tigers, it is Shannon Holleran, Meg Hurley, Francesca Calabrero, Caitlin McCarthy, and Mackenzie Webster. Milford to the basket, and there are our first points out of the hands of Kate Irwin to get things started.
Kate Irwin, a freshman starting on this varsity team. She really has a lot of potential going forward here for Milford. Gives them a bright spot in the future.
And now on the defensive end, almost a steal, but Oliver Ames able to knock the shot home. That's Meg Hurley, one of their primary scoring threats.
And a captain as well as Hurley.
It has been those captains who have done a lot of their offensive damage. Meg Hurley along with Shannon Holleran. It's Holleran now driving towards the basket, now kicks it outside. The three-point shot clanks off the side of the rim, but Oliver Ames able to control the rebound, and from three-point range, you can count it for Caitlin McCarthy, the junior. So now a quick 5 unanswered points for Oliver Ames as they take the 5-2 lead. 5 minutes and 39 seconds to go in this first quarter. A near miss under the basket, and now the foul. Again, this is the second matchup of the season between these two teams. They played at Oliver Ames up in Easton back on December 19th. That was a game that Milford lost to Oliver Ames by a final of 51-38. Miaris, the dangerous pass, intercepted by Oliver Ames, but it deflected into the hands of Emily Pierre Gustavo. Play back down the other end, the shot does not go. Rebound under the basket goes to Milford, and now it's Miaris taking it up the far wing. Coming down to 5 minutes to play, another steal. Seen a lot of steals on both sides, not a lot of points early on, but now the layup for Calabrero. Milford's going to call the early timeout, and as we take a closer look at that game that these two teams played earlier this season, Anthony, it was really the first half that did in this Lady Hawks team, as Oliver Ames had a 30-14 lead at halftime. They led 41-23 heading into the fourth quarter, but Milford really came alive in that fourth quarter. They outscored the Lady Tigers 15-11. They made it really close, but ultimately it was free throws that told the story at the end. So you really saw the offense come alive in that second half. So if Milford can get things going here in quarter one and quarter two, this should be a much closer finish. Yeah,
Milford always shows a lot of life, and I think even early on here tonight, they have struggled with turnovers early on, but they've been running hard. They've been passing well. They've showed a lot of life. So I think this game is really gonna be interesting, and it should come down to the finish like it did last time.
So already 3 players on the score sheet early on for the Lady Tigers: Meg Hurley, Francesca Calabrero, and Caitlin McCarthy with the other bucket. Kate Irwin still with the lone points for Milford. She controls the basketball heading up the floor here out of the timeout. Long pass to Miaris. Now this one is going to be kicked out of bounds off the foot of Miaris.
Seemed like a little self-defense from Miaris there. That pass came in hot from Pierre Gustavo.
Good work, girls.
The head coach for this girls basketball team for Milford, Tricia Cullen. For Oliver Ames, head coach is Elaine Clement Holbrook. Underneath the basket, the whistle with 4:34 to play. These are two schools that have developed a pretty fierce hockey rivalry over the last few seasons, just playing each other on the ice about a week or so ago.
Yeah, I think back to last year in the playoffs, that first round game, I actually got to attend that one, and that was a real intriguing game. Milford actually wasn't able to come out with the win, but it was a great game from start to finish.
A couple of good free throws by Mackenzie Webster, and it's a 9-2 lead now for Oliver Ames. So the early scoring has been working for the visitors. Milford still looking to settle in. They try to get it inside, and now kick it back out. 13 to go on the shot clock. Now the three-point shot from Irwin is good. And Irwin now with all 5 points in this first quarter for the Lady Hawks. Irwin, a freshman, but she is not alone as she gets the near steal. This team heavily made up of underclassmen. Freshmen and sophomores. The only upperclassmen are the two captains, Gabby Assam and Clarissa Miaris.
And 3 of those freshmen start: Juliana Tracy, Irwin, and Pierre Gustavo. And Coach Cullen must be greatly pleased that she has a lot of young pieces to work with over these next couple of years.
Certainly gaining valuable experience at the varsity level here, the freshmen and the sophomores. So you have to imagine that next year this is going to be a much more confident team, a team that's going to be used to playing together. So it can be hard in the beginning having a young team and dealing with those growing pains, but once everything comes together, you know you've got a good nucleus to deal with for a couple of years.
Absolutely. You always hate to have a down year. I mean, you want to be successful every year, but you got to have those years where you're kind of rebuilding a little bit. And I think even the boys are kind of going through that a little bit this year too. They have a small amount of seniors, and they have a lot of young talent that they're looking to build off of as well.
Valenzola with the bucket, 11-7, things starting to tighten up. Hollering up the floor for the Lady Tigers. Now they swing it around. Underneath the basket, and good for Mackenzie Webster, who's really starting to use her length inside to her advantage. That one bangs home from Milford. 13-9 now the score.
7 points already for Irwin. She's on pace to have a big night.
Right now it's Irwin and Webster who continue to exchange up and down the floor. 8 points now for Mackenzie Webster. Quick shot for Milford. And good for Emma Liskoff. And now Milford with the steal, 15-11, coming down to the final 2 minutes, and they wave off the shot for the travel. And now a quick substitution for Coach Cullen back into the game. Comes Christine Pye. Pye now handling the basketball. She takes the contested shot well off the mark. Rebound goes to OA. A little too hot to handle on the pass for Holleran, but she is able to track it down.
Nice block,
Couple of shot attempts under the basket, won't go. Oliver Ames will inbound from underneath the basket with 1 minute and 50 seconds to go.
On 11, who's on 11?
A lot of up and down the floor action. Oliver Ames goes for the quick shot off the inbounds pass. It's blocked and Milford ends up with the ball.
Yeah, it's been very fast-paced here early on. Already a minute and a half left in the first quarter. It seems like we just started this game.
Miaris calling for the ball being tipped by Oliver Ames on the way by, but the officials disagree. No, instead it will be Milford inbounding. It was Oliver Ames getting into position, so Miaris pled her case and it paid off. And now she takes the long-range shot, no good. Rebound under the basket, count it, and the foul. Juliana Tracy, a chance for the three-point play.
That was poor boxing out by Oliver Ames there. Tracy was left wide open underneath the basket, and that rebound came and she was there, and she was able to draw the foul, make the basket, and get to the line.
Gets the free throw. So down to a 1-point lead for Oliver Ames, so already a much different looking first quarter than what these two teams played earlier in the year. Just over a minute to go as they call for the jump ball, and the possession arrow pointing towards the Lady Hawks.
And that timeout that Coach Cullen called a couple minutes ago is already starting to pay dividends. They didn't come out so well and just calm the girls down, and they're starting to score and play defense.
Miaris looking for a pass in the corner, but no player in the vicinity. That one goes out of play, so here comes Oliver Ames. Now with exactly 60 seconds to go in this first quarter, the three-point shot put up by Holleran, no good. Rebound Oliver Ames. Second chance shot, no good. And here now an opportunity for Milford to have the first lead since it was 2-0. Irwin gets it in the hands of Valenzola. The shot doesn't fall. Here's Holleran again. See, she has good speed up the floor. OA has missed some shots here in the first quarter, and that has allowed Milford to close this gap to a 1-point margin.
They've missed some, but they've got so many shots off offensive rebounds and steals that they're still leading in this game.
Another sloppy pass for Milford, and Oliver Ames will have a chance to inbound from just beyond the scorer's table with 12.8 seconds to go, so the shot clock not a factor. Oliver Ames can work this clock all the way down. The fans helping out, calling out the time. Behind the back shot is no good, and that will be all for the first quarter. They do get one last shot away out of the hands of Naira Mitchell, fresh into the game, but the shot does not go through, and we are through 1 quarter of play now from Milford High School, and it's been an entertaining opening 8 minutes. It is a 15-14 score. Oliver Ames has the lead. We will be right back with the start of the second quarter next here on Milford TV. Both teams retake the floor for the start of the second quarter. Tim Coet and Anthony Mazzini here on the call for Milford High School girls basketball. It is a 15-14 lead for Oliver Ames. But again, all things considered, a very solid first quarter for Milford. Looking back again at that last matchup these two teams played, Milford scored 14 points in all of the first half. Able to score 14 points in the first quarter alone, so the offense much more confident here on their home floor.
Yeah, it doesn't look like the offense will be a problem at all here tonight, unless something happens between now and the next couple minutes, but I don't see that happening.
The shot from Oliver Ames, good for Francesca Calabrero. 4 points now so far in this first half. The offensive star of that first quarter for Milford was Kate Irwin, who just dished off that pass. 7 points. But Oliver Ames is able to get the turnover.
Good job, Kate, don't reach.
We talked about energy players last week, Anthony, with the boys team and what we saw out of Sean Arquilano. It seems like Irwin can be one of those players out there on the floor for this girls team. Very active on the defensive side of the floor, very quick offensively.
Yeah, her work ethic is just outstanding. She's always hustling. She's everywhere. You never know where she's going to be. She'll end up in the corner and spot up for a three. She'll get the ball back at the top and drive to the hoop. She can just do a little of everything, and her defense is outstanding as well.
And now the travel called against Mitchell. 17-14 now the score. With still over 6.5 minutes to play before we reach the intermission. Here's Irwin from three. Nothing but net on that shot.
She has a very smooth, natural shooting motion.
And now right back to work. And count the bucket from Emily Pierre-Gustavo. And that's going to incite a timeout out of Oliver Ames, as now Milford has regained the lead, up 19-17. So knocking down a couple of big shots there, Anthony, to retake the lead.
Yeah, both freshmen. It's amazing to see these young freshmen coming in and making an impact right away. A lot of times you don't see freshmen making an impact right away. They might start off on the bench and progressively get minutes, but being starters on this team, both Pierre-Gustavo and Irwin, they get a chance to come in and help this team win some games, and they have so far this year.
And for Oliver Ames, they're a team coming in maybe with the confidence not quite where it was earlier in the season. They're in the midst right now of a really tough stretch. They've lost their last 3 games in a row. They have run through a gauntlet of teams facing Mansfield on the road, Foxborough, who's one of the top teams in the Davenport right now, and North Attleboro, who's all but unbeatable over in the Kelly Rex, but losing to Mansfield 48-36, to Foxborough 47-40. And losing to North Attleboro in their most recent game, 53-29. So it's been a struggle for Oliver Ames over this last week plus. So maybe that lack of confidence, and also along with the energy that Milford has brought in this first half, that's been a dangerous combination.
Yeah, those losing streaks, they can do one of two things. They can either drag you down as a team and cause you to keep losing, or they can bring you up as a team. They make you want to win games more. And it looks like right now Oliver Ames is struggling a little bit here early on, but I mean, they're still in this game. They're only down 2. They just got to work on the defense on the arc a little bit more, I think.
You talk about freshmen making an impact on the floor. Right now, Oliver Ames going to their freshman, Kayla Raymond, checking into the game.
And another young player from Milford, Nicole Dahlgren, just came up with a very big block on the other end. Set up that fast break for Milford.
Kate Irwin going to the basket. Milford getting fouled. The inbounds pass now under the basket, but too hot for Irwin to handle. Five minutes and 59 seconds on the game clock here for this first half.
Tough defense, White.
Now it's the freshman trying to get the charge. No whistle. She puts the shot up. No good. Now here's Irwin with just one player to beat. A lot of contact.
A lot of contact, but I think that was a good no call by the referee. Oliver Ames went straight up in the air, didn't initiate contact. It was a good no call.
And again, too hard on the pass, so Milford needing a little more touch on these passes here. We've seen a couple of them go streaking past and out of bounds. Raymond gives way to Holleran, now right back into the hands of Kayla Raymond. To continue to go back and forth, looking to open something up under the basket. And getting fouled was Mackenzie Webster.
Keep going up strong, White.
Webster knocked down both free throw attempts she made in the first quarter. Makes her first here. And unable to get the second.
Box out, White.
So it's a 1-point game once again. This time Milford
Good work, Kate.
with that 1-point advantage, up 19-18. Clarissa Miaris with a nice bounce pass, but now stolen off the pass from Dahlgren.
Too many turnovers here for Milford early on in this game.
Oliver Ames now with a turnover of their own. Here's Miaris. She loses control of the basketball on the way by. She's able to recover, but sends the pass into traffic. And back and forth we go with the turnovers. The shot put up by Milford, no good. Fighting for it inside is Valenzola.
Let's get this one, White.
4:54 to play. Right back out of bounds. It stays Milford ball. Milford struggling to find that inbounds pass. They get it. Miaris immediately puts up the shot. No good. There's a good look from Miaris, but shot just doesn't fall.
Yeah, that was good execution off the inbounds play. Miaris was able to get an open shot. It was a little bit deeper than just beyond the three-point line, but it was still a good shot, and she has that range. She just wasn't able to knock it down.
Clarissa Miaris, one of the winners of the Scarlet Hawk of the Week, a new student athlete award that was implemented by new athletic director Peter Boucher along with Principal Carolyn Banach.
I think it's a great award. Builds morale for the athletes, builds confidence, recognized around the town. I think it's just a great award.
We had a chance to watch the conclusion of the JV game here earlier this evening, a game in which the Milford JV team came away with the victory, and on that JV squad, Tina Capone, also a Scarlet Hawk of the Week winner. So this has been going on for several weeks now, new winners named each week.
We'll get to watch another winner tomorrow night. Drew Wilds will be on the ice for Milford against Holliston at the Blackstone Valley Ice Arena in Hopedale.
Still a 19-18 score. It's been frozen there for the last couple of minutes. And it will stay the same after that unsuccessful shot from the Lady Hawks. Long pass up the floor for Raymond, now underneath the basket. No good from Webster. Another OA turnover. We're past the midway point of the second quarter. It's been a lower scoring quarter so far than what we saw in the first 8 minutes.
It's been a lot slower paced as well. That first quarter went by in a flash. This second quarter has been a few more out of bounds, a few more fouls. So it's really slowed down a little bit here to the disadvantage of both teams. They're not putting up as many points as they did in the first.
And the turnovers continue for both sides as well as Milford turns it over on that most recent play. Kate Irwin had gotten a little rest on the bench. She's now back into the game. Gets her hand in the passing lane, almost gets a steal. Long two from Oliver Ames, no good, but a very nice job by Sam Bamford. She swoops in, grabs the rebound, and puts it back for two. And the lead swings back to Oliver Ames, but only for a moment. Irwin takes it to the basket. Double digits now for Irwin in the game. 21-20, Milford with the lead, so all of a sudden now the points starting to come up again.
Good job, Jill.
Oliver Ames gets it in. Trying to find an opening in the near corner. Now it's the traveling violation again against Mackenzie Webster. They continue to try to feed it into Webster inside, but credit Milford with some good interior defense.
Yeah, that seems like Oliver Ames' game plan here tonight. They seem to be wanting to get the ball inside. And at the beginning of the game, it paid off for them. They scored quite a few points down low. All of a sudden tonight, in the second quarter, they just can't seem to buy a basket down low.
They put it in again. Shot no good for Webster. Milford with possession, up by one, coming down to the closing minutes of this first half. Miaris working hard for the rebound. And now the foul. Tough work under the basket by Liskoff, a near miss.
A few Oliver Ames fans disagree with that call, but looked like a good call from where we're sitting.
It's a fairly large crowd in the gym tonight, some vocal fans on both sides. Oliver Ames up the floor, down by one. Now under 2 minutes to play in the half. They fake the three. There's Holleran. Now driving inside, but no good on the shot. Francesca Calabrero. Coach Cullen active on the sidelines, not liking the defense on that last play.
Yeah, I think she's getting a little irritated with the multiple turnovers from Milford here early on, as well as the interior defense at times.
10 points in the game now for Mackenzie Webster, 4 of those coming from the free throw line. She knocks down another. Free throws are going to be something to keep in mind as this game goes on. Oliver Ames outscored Milford at the free throw line 23-10 in their last meeting, and that 13 points ended up being the margin of victory.
Yeah, we saw it the other last week, I think it was, with the Milford boys team against Attleboro. Both teams got to the line quite a bit, and neither team was really able to execute as well as they maybe would have liked, and ultimately that could have been resulted in a larger victory for Attleboro or a win for Milford.
Milford suddenly a little bit cold on the offensive side of the floor. It's a 24-21 lead now for Oliver Ames. That was a long two knocked down by Hannah Carroll. A 5-point lead now, one of the largest we've seen since early in the first quarter. They try to force it into Irwin through traffic. She loses control. Now back ahead to Mackenzie Webster. Some momentum really starting to swing back into the Tigers' favor. It's just the second miss from the line for Webster. She is the only Oliver Ames player. She misses both that time. The only player from Oliver Ames to go to the free throw line The only attempt from the line on the Milford side was for Juliana Tracy completing the three-point play. Milford trying to open up the floor with some long passes. They continue to feed Pye in that same spot on the floor. She hasn't been able to knock it down yet. Now the long jumper for Oliver Ames misses. 10 seconds left in the half. It looked like that ball went out of play. Last touched by the Lady Tigers. So with 8.9 seconds to go, Milford looking to chip into this lead before they head to the locker rooms. And Oliver Ames, the full court defense. Milford able to break it. The long three from Irwin, no good. 1 second to go. And it goes out of bounds. 0.8 seconds. So we'll see if Oliver Ames is able to get a long shot off.
Looks like Irwin kind of rushed that shot a little bit. I think she thought there was less time than there actually was.
And Milford able to successfully guard against one final shot. So that will do it here for the first half. Again, it was a pretty entertaining first 2 quarters. Oliver Ames is able to head into the locker room up by a score of 26-21. So we saw a couple of different momentum swings there over the course of the second quarter. Milford was able to take the lead, knock down a couple of really good shots, but Oliver Ames was really able to get their footing back underneath them and finish out the quarter strong.
Yeah, Milford entered that second quarter really in command. They ended the first quarter with a lot of momentum and then brought that into the second quarter, and then they kind of hit a stalemate. They couldn't buy a shot, and Oliver Ames took advantage of that, started playing excellent defense and started knocking down a lot of shots, and here we are entering halftime with Oliver Ames up, and maybe they can keep that momentum going into the third.
And after 14 points scored for Milford in the first quarter, only 7 in that second quarter, so looking to make those offensive adjustments at halftime. We will be right back here for the start of the third quarter next. Again, you're watching coverage of Milford High School girls basketball right here on Milford TV. We welcome you back inside the Milford High School gymnasium as we get set to begin second half action between the Milford Lady Scarlet Hawks and the Oliver Ames Lady Tigers girls basketball action here on Milford TV. I am Tim Coette, joined on the broadcast by Anthony Mazzini. And Kate Irwin right back to work on the offensive side of the floor. Gets the first 2 points of this third quarter. And now immediately another steal.
Great hustle by Miares there. And on the play before that, Irwin picking up right where she left off.
Milford with possession, now a 3-point lead for Oliver Ames. As missing the shot inside was Christine Pye.
Oliver Ames has done an excellent job cracking down on Milford's taller girls here tonight. They seem to have a weakness on the outside, which has allowed Irwin and Pierre Gustavo and Miares to have big nights.
Fighting through traffic, Calabrero getting the points. Interesting to see what adjustments each of these teams make here in the second half. Irwin with the three-pointer off the mark.
For both teams, I think they need to work on limiting the turnovers. There were way too many on both sides.
Now Miares with the steal. As we continue to watch Kate Irwin out on the floor, there was really absolutely nothing about Irwin's game that would make you think she was a freshman.
No, nothing at all. She hustles, she plays hard, she plays great defense, and she's a great scorer. You don't see that combination too often in a freshman.
She handles the basketball now, driving baseline, feeds it out to Pye. The shot's just not falling for Pye so far in this game. It's been held off the score sheet to this point. Meanwhile, it looks like Shannon Holleran will head to the free throw line, the first Oliver Ames player other than Mackenzie Webster to shoot free throws. Quick substitution made by Coach Cullen.
Another thing about Irwin's game that I like is that she's not like a 2 or a 3. She plays the 1. And as a freshman, that's a lot of responsibility for a point guard coming in her first year and having to run the team, handle the ball all the time. So I think that's very impressive, and I think Coach Cullen is very pleased with the way she's turned out.
Meanwhile, Francesca Calabrero knocking down a big 3, opening up a 31-23 lead for Oliver Ames. Milford trying to answer back with Pierre Gustavo, but her shot doesn't fall, and now it's Calabrero back the other way, but Milford gets the steal, hustling up the floor to the basket. Pierre Gustavo gets fouled.
Looks like Oliver Ames has kept that momentum from the end of the second quarter, but Milford has shown sparks of life here early on.
The first free throw goes through for Pierre Gustavo, her first trip to the line tonight. In and out on the second shot. Underneath the basket. Pretty good block from Milford. Ball goes out of play. It will stay Oliver Ames' ball with 15 seconds on the shot clock.
Yeah, that was a great block by Pi there. She realized that she was beat on the block. An excellent pass down low by Oliver Ames. But Pi with an athletic play and was able to stop the basket.
Now outside for 3. Count it. That was Holleran. Holleran's been very active in the game, but only 4 points, so she's been a good facilitator. Christine Pi, there's her first points of the night. We'll see if that gets her going. The lead is 8 for Milford. The leading pass a little too strong. Irwin able to track it down, and she gets fouled from behind by Caitlin McCarthy. McCarthy will now take a seat on the bench for Oliver Ames as Miaris looks for someone to take the inbounds pass. Here's Pi. The shot up over the backboard. It's an 8-point lead right now for Oliver Ames, 34-26. 4:23 to go in the second half. Under the basket. It's Webster. And now Oliver Ames looking for the steal. Falling on it is Miaris. It looks like Milford was able to get the timeout. So both teams head to the sidelines. We'll take the quick timeout as well. 36-26. It's an even 10-point lead now for Oliver Ames. Milford looking for the adjustments. We'll be back with more right after this. Back out of the timeout. 4 minutes down, 4 minutes to go in this third quarter. It's been a strong showing from Oliver Ames coming out of halftime to open up the 10-point lead. And now, again, it is the length of Mackenzie Webster to Oliver Ames' advantage as she creates the steal. Now they feed her under the basket. She gets the points. Oliver Ames coming into this game, as we mentioned off the top, second place in the Davenport Division standings. As now they will help Clarissa Miaris off the court, favoring what looks to be the left leg or left knee. Not sure how that developed. The play moving up the court, and all of a sudden Miaris Like she may have come up lame.
Yeah, the shot went up all right. It went in, she came down nice, and next thing you know, she was waving over to the bench asking for a substitute. I don't know what happened. Maybe something just tweaked or popped or something, but that's might be a big blow for Milford. Actually, it will be a big blow for Milford, especially if she misses an extended period of time.
It remains a 10-point advantage for Oliver Ames as the training staff looks like they are checking out the knee of Miaris. Holleran gets it in, a quick play underneath the basket off the inbounds, and Francesca Calabraro now up to 11 points. Milford able to score on the other side. So a lot of youth out there on the floor, with Miaris continuing to be attended to on the bench. That shot was partially deflected by Christine Pye. Milford able to control the rebound. Still a 10-point lead.
Yeah, anytime Miaris isn't on the court, there's going to be all but youth. Excuse me, everything. Jeez. There's going to be all youth on the court for Milford when Miaris is on the bench.
It's Dahlgren looking for the inbounds pass. She gets it in. That shot long out of Pierre Gustavo. A near steal for Dahlgren, but Oliver Ames able to escape the backcourt. Under 2 minutes to play in this third quarter. Under the basket, no good. And the foul, as Pye had collected the rebound.
Good hands by Pierre Gustavo. She wasn't able to come up with the steal, but she was able to slow the play down just enough that Oliver Ames was able to miss the shot.
And that one's stolen by Oliver Ames. Milford trying to get it back. Dahlgren nearly able to get a hand on it. And it will be Milford basketball, so another turnover for Milford, but good work defensively to get it back.
Yeah, Nicole Dahlgren made an excellent play in the corner on defense.
She gets the bounce pass into Pye. Now she takes the shot, deflected. 1:16 to play. Oliver Ames continues to enjoy that 10-point lead. That was Emily Flaherty into the game as they give Mackenzie Webster some rest.
Oliver Ames showing a great display of passing here, coming off picks, cutting to the hoop.
Long three by Irwin off the front of the rim. The lead is 12. As the tempo slows down in these final 30 seconds, Milford can't get the steal. Shot no good. The Hawks with the rebound now. Long pass connects with Irwin. Dahlgren's shot short. Milford tries to save it. Both Dahlgren and Pye. And Dahlgren went down hard. You can see the pain in her face, but she's going to stay out there. And now the refs want the training staff to take a look at Nicole Dahlgren. She'll head to the bench. It was hard to tell if she went down hard or if she may have hit her head on the wall as she slid down trying to collect that loose ball.
Yeah, she hit that padded area behind the hoop there, and even though it's padded, it still hurts when you go in hard like that. And like you said, I'm not sure if she hit her back or if she hit her head, but it's better to get her checked out and make sure she's all right.
So Milford right now down 2 players with injuries. We'll see if they get those players back in the 4th quarter, as there is only 7 seconds to go here in the 3rd quarter.
Yeah, and those would be key injuries if they're out for a while. Miara is offering that experience and maturity, while Dahlgren is a lot of depth off the bench, some height on the floor for Milford.
It looks as though Dahlgren will be good to go. Grabbing some water on the bench now. She looks to be fine, but the training staff continuing to look at Clarissa Miaris. 42-30 the score. Oliver Ames with the lead. Milford to inbound with just over 4 seconds to go. The inbounds pass deflected. And that is it for the 3rd quarter. Neither team gets a shot off in those closing seconds, but it was a very good quarter for the Lady Tigers, who now lead it by 12. The score is 42-30 in favor of the visitors. We will have the start of the 4th quarter when we return here in just a moment. Coverage of Milford High School girls basketball on Milford TV. Back here for the 4th quarter, Tim Coet and Anthony Mazzini here on the call for Milford TV, bringing you Milford High School girls basketball. Milford's going to need a strong offensive showing here in the 4th quarter. They were able to do it the last time these 2 teams met. It wasn't enough for a win. But that was a very good 3rd quarter again offensively for Oliver Ames. 16 points in that 3rd quarter to open up the 12-point lead.
Yeah, not only offensively, but defensively as well. They limited Milford to, I believe, 9 points. And it was just a great overall showing for them in that 3rd quarter. And if they keep it up, Oliver Ames could be looking at a blowout win here.
The block on the shot from Irwin. Milford heads to the free throw line. We continue to monitor the injury situation on the sidelines. Dahlgren on the bench, perched and ready to come back in if called upon. But meanwhile, the 2 captains of this Milford team sitting in the background with the training staff. Gabby Assam recovering from injury, not quite yet ready to play in a game. Now sitting alongside her fellow captain, Clarissa Miaris, who injured her knee towards the end of that 3rd quarter. She is still out, and it doesn't look as if, at this point, she's ready to come back into the game.
No, and it's a shame for Gabby being a senior on this team and a captain. She hasn't been able to play yet this year, and it's tough. Your senior year, you want to play, you want to be one of the stars on the team, and for her not being able to play, it must be detrimental, but hopefully she'll be able to come back and contribute to this team down the stretch.
Oliver Ames again trying for the quick shot off the inbounds pass. They don't get it, but eventually collecting the loose ball and getting the shot. That looked like Molly Donovan getting the bucket. So the lead now up to 14. Pass deflected out of the hands of Jillian Burley into the game, and now trying for the layup the other way was Calabrero, but she cannot connect.
Good block by Tracy. She came over from the other block,
and now the foul.
Looks like Dahlgren's making her way to the scorer's table to check back in. That's good to see.
Meg Hurley to the line for the Lady Tigers. Gets the first shot to bounce through. That's the first points for Meg Hurley since all the way back in the 1st quarter. It's now just 3 points in all, one of typically the top scorers on this team, but she has been quiet. Knocks down both free throws here, and now It's up to a 16-point lead, so things starting to get a bit out of reach for Milford if they can't put a scoring streak together. Dahlgren back into the game, dishes it back outside to Pierre Gustavo. Down to 10 seconds on the shot clock. It's Irwin hesitating, trying to work her way inside. Now the pass gets away, running out of time, and the shot waved off. They call the travel. Juliana Tracy working hard inside, but the traveling violation called.
Yeah, she didn't get put in the best situation down low there. Not a lot of time left on the shot clock, about 4 seconds, and she had to make a quick move.
A quick move now by Calabrero. She gets the steal, can't get the layup. Gets a second chance, no good, but there's Hurley, so right on cue now. Talking about the scoring drought from Hurley. 4 quick points. Pierre Gustavo gets fouled.
This game is shaping up to be an opposite of what happened last time these teams played. Last time out, it was a blowout in the beginning, and Milford was able to fight its way back. And instead, this game here tonight, Milford was battling hard in the beginning, and now they seem to lost some energy and can't buy a basket, and they're starting to get blown out here.
And we talked about confidence earlier in the game when it comes to Oliver Ames. You have to imagine that the confidence from Milford has wavered a bit as they see their captain, Clarissa Miares, who would certainly be my guess at this point we're not going to see her for the remainder of this game.
No, if the game stays the way it is, Milford isn't looking like it's going to make a run. I wouldn't risk anything putting her back in, senior and captain on this team. You want her to get healthy sooner than later. But that does make a big difference when your leader and captain and senior exits the game with an injury. It's going to affect the team in more ways than one.
Miara is such a strong leader on this team and had a very good performance here earlier this week. There was a doubleheader action with both the boys and girls teams playing here at home against their Hopedale counterparts, and Miaris led the way for a big second half comeback after the girls were trailing to Hopedale. They ended up coming through with the comeback win, 55-47. That was their last victory.
And even when she's not having the best night on the court, as far as scoring and defense goes, she's still a vocal leader. She's out there giving constructive criticism to the younger players, and she sees the court well. She knows where to be at the right time, and she's just a great leader even when she's not having the best night.
And a very humble player as well. We had a chance to interview her as well as several of the recent Scarlet Hawk of the Week winners, and was surprised when the award went to her. She talked about how every single player on this team works hard, and when the athletic director came in to say one of the players on the team had won it, she was expecting it to be somebody else and not herself. So a very humble, quiet, lead by example kind of character on this team.
Yeah, I actually watched that interview, and she didn't give credit to herself much. She said she was happy to receive the award and it was a great honor, but she credited her teammates with a lot. She said without her teammates, she wouldn't be winning this award, and I thought that was nice. That was a great gesture on her part.
5 minutes and 20 seconds to go in this fourth quarter as Irwin puts up the shot. Too long. Milford controls the rebound. Tracy can't get the shot. The jump ball. Possession arrow goes to Oliver Ames. Oliver Ames' bench doing a good job maintaining the lead as now Mackenzie Webster checks back in. Caitlin McCarthy also back into the game. Dahlgren off the inbounds. The shot doesn't fall, but Tracy gets the rebound. Milford able to reset. A lot of long passing in the second half for Milford, and there it's to their detriment. Oliver Ames gets the steal and 2 more points for Calabrero. She's had 9 in the second half alone. 13 for the game. Driving to the basket. The shot doesn't fall for Jillian Burley. 50-32. Oliver Ames in full control at this point, up by 18. Another jump ball called for this time. It will go to the Lady Hawks.
Gabby Asum has checked into this game here now. Looks like they're just trying to spoon feed her minutes until she's ready to be able to play on more of a full-time basis.
So good to get one of those seniors back out on the floor.
Good hands by Dahlgren.
Milford gets the steal. And another dangerous pass up the floor. They're able to corral the ball and the shot. Much needed points for Milford, and now Burley looking for the steal, but Milford called for the foul.
Some happy fans on the Oliver Ames side, some disappointed fans on the Milford side.
Shannon Holleran. 15 seconds on the shot clock. She's guarded close by Pierre Gustavo. And Oliver Ames commits the travel. 3 minutes and 33 seconds to go. And the pass intercepted. Calabraro with a number of steals in this second half. Milford nearly getting it back as Dahlgren continues to be fearless out there on the floor despite getting shaken up in this second half.
Yeah, it looks like she just got the wind knocked out of her. She needed to go to the bench, take a quick break, get some water, and she seems to be fine now. Playing great defense.
Things have gotten a bit subdued here in the gym now with the big lead for Oliver Ames. The visiting fans content with the big lead. Milford running out of time now as we tick down to 3 minutes to play. There's Calabraro again with the steal. Burley trying to get it back. Oliver Ames now eating up more time. 2:48 left in this basketball game. Milford coming in at 4-8. It'll be 4-9 by game's end.
Calabraro has just been all over these passing lanes tonight.
And Oliver Ames not taking anything for granted here. Despite the big lead, most of their starting players still out there on the floor. Here's Asum. She gives way inside. A foul. Tracy will head to the line. First shot is a miss from Tracy. As now the starters begin to check out for the Lady Tigers.
Yeah, they've certainly done their part tonight to help Oliver Ames get this big lead. It's time to see what some of the players on the bench for Oliver Ames can do.
Play ends up with a jump ball. And Asum will inbound. And a nice shot from Dahlgren. Under 2 minutes to play. As Milford tries to trap Oliver Ames in the backcourt. They're able to advance it. The pass to Naira Mitchell. Her shot is no good. Now here's Dahlgren guarded close by Mackenzie Webster. Irwin to Tracy, the shot doesn't fall. Now another near steal. Dahlgren picks up the loose ball. 1:23 to play. The pass up and over the extended arms of Kate Irwin. Calabrero can't get the layup, but the freshman Kayla Raymond gets the putback. And Oliver Ames calls the timeout with just 1 minute and 5 seconds to go. We'll be back with more right after this. So back out of the timeout as there are just 60 seconds left, and Oliver Ames with a lot of passing, letting these seconds wear down. 15 seconds left on the shot clock. And now into Raymond. Milford ends up with the basketball with 36 seconds to go. Irwin to Dahlgren. In and out. Just not a lot of luck around the rim for Milford in the second half either. That has contributed to the struggles.
Absolutely.
Only 6 points for Milford in this fourth quarter, but of course, playing this entire fourth quarter without the services of Clarissa Miaris.
Yeah, that was a big blow for them. Like we've said a couple times, a senior captain on this team, and even when she's not having her best night or she's not able to be on the court, she's a vocal leader. That probably played dividends for Milford's downfall here.
And there is your final buzzer. So the final score in this game, Oliver Ames 54 and Milford 36. So in the end, the score ending up looking similar to the final from earlier this year, and also this extends the winning streak for Oliver Ames against Milford. They've swept the season series against Milford in each of the previous 2 seasons as well. We'll see if the girls can get back on the winning track in their next game. But in the meantime, that is just about all on our broadcast for tonight. A big thank you to Anthony Mazzini and Joey Marcello for helping out on the broadcast tonight. And I am Tim Coette. Your final score, one final time. Milford loses to Oliver Ames by a final score of 54-36. This has been a presentation of Milford High School Athletics here on Milford TV. So long, everybody.